Hello and welcome to Tête-à-Tête, France 24's flagship interview show. We're in Ankara and our guest today is the Foreign Minister of the Republic of Turkey, Hakan Fidan. Thank you very much for welcoming us.
Thank you.
I want to begin obviously with Syria, neighboring Syria. This Friday, a high-level U.S. delegation met with the new leadership in Damascus, the HayatTahriral-Sham, HTS as it's known, despite the fact that it is classified by the US, by the EU, by Turkey as a terrorist organization. How significant is this visit?
Well, I think it is very significant. Before this visit, we've seen other European countries and international organizations visiting Damascus and contacting new administration there. I think it is important.
You're planning to visit Damascus and meet with the leader of HTS?
Yes,
soon?
I am. I am planning to go there and to meet with the new administration.
One of the things they want is to be removed from the terror list. They're on there because of previous associations with both Al-Qaeda and ISIS. Turkey has a list of terrorists. They're on this list. Why not take them out of this list? You can do it on your own. You don't need to wait for the US, the EU, or the UN to do so.
Well, I think that's a good point because we put them on the list because of UN listing, because we observe the UN Security Council decisions. So now we are having now a unique situation where the legality and practicality are contradicting each other here, because in practice we've seen the HTS for the last 10 years have not involved any terrorist activities, and it was quite well documented by not only us but also Western intelligence agencies.
I'm assuming you've had interaction with the HTS, its leader Ahmedal-Sharaa, as he's known there. Have they been useful to fight actually terrorist groups like Daesh or Al-Qaeda? Have they collaborated with you and with Western officials to show that they're not terrorists anymore but actually cooperate against terrorist groups?
Yes, indeed, to a great extent. We've had excellent cooperation on sharing intelligence to fight against especially Daesh leadership. But because, they help us a lot, but because of the sensitivities, we didn't make it public that time. But over the years, they cooperated with us in providing intelligence on Daesh and Al-Qaeda related organizations.
Even high-value targets, as
yes,
they're known,
yes,
like
even,
al-Baghdadi or
even high-value targets.
One concrete issue is the refugee issue, over 3 million here in Turkey. Are they going back? Are you telling them, go back to your country?
We are trying to work hard to create an environment in Syria where the refugees in Turkey as well as in other countries can feel that voluntarily, safely, they can go back. We cannot dictate them, and we are not going to force them to go back.
Have they started going back?
They have started going back, but the initial numbers are not that much high. But we think that in the coming days, we'll see a big increase in the numbers of people who are going back to Syria.
President-elect of the United States, Donald Trump, said this was an unfriendly takeover, quote-unquote, by Turkey, what happened, the fall of Assad, adding that President Erdogan, who he admires, was tough and obtained what he wanted for a long time. Your reaction?
I think he was trying to complement what has happened, but we cannot characterize what happened in Syria as a takeover of Turkey. On the contrary, if there is any takeover, it is a takeover of the will of the Syrian people.
What many people have a hard time believing is that all of a sudden, Iran and Russia, that had invested so much in supporting Assad, even his crackdown several years ago, suddenly pulled out without firing a shot. There was a deal, wasn't there?
Well, I wouldn't call it deal. I think if you look at the Russian strategy and Mr. Putin, over the years, Mr. Putin has stayed in power long enough to evolve from a tactical administrator to a good strategic thinker. I think he knows what is important, what is less important, what can be invested on, what is to be continued, what is not. I think in this case, he has made his calculations and decided not to go ahead anymore.
To abandon Assad.
I don't know if he has abandoned. It
Well,
doesn't.
he
No, it doesn't seem so because Assad is in Moscow now.
What about Iran? Is it because of what happened to Hezbollah in Lebanon? They were essentially.
I think Iran has recalculated all the options again, and then they have taken a very realistic approach.
Russia still has, for the time being, 2 military bases in Syria. Vladimir Putin was asked about their future. He said, "We'll see, maybe we'll discuss." And he said, I quote him, "The overwhelming majority of countries in the region have an interest in those bases remaining, these Russian bases remaining in Syria." Are you among them? Are you in favor of Russian bases remaining in Syria?
Well, certainly we are not in favor of any bases remaining in Syria, not only the Russians but any others. So
they should leave.
Well, I mean, it will be up to Syrian people. It will be up to Syrian people, and if they come to an understanding, it's their decision. So we'll see it. But now, as we see it, the Russians now in the process of redeploying their units, and in the end of the process, we don't know how much of them will continue to stay in Syria, in the bases.
Speaking of troops, we just learned that the United States, people thought they had 900 troops in Syria. The Pentagon just revealed that, in fact, there were 2,000 U.S. troops in Syria. Were you aware that it was more than double U.S. presence in Syria? Obviously, you're well informed about that. Did you know that?
No, in recent weeks, we've noticed the increase of the numbers.
They say it's to fight ISIS, presumably. Is this what why are you smiling?
The definition of fighting ISIS has been always used as an excuse. I mean, let's make some definitions right. The fight against ISIS there is only one job. It's to keep ISIS prisoners in prison. That's it. And unfortunately, our American friends and some European friends are using a terrorist organization to keep the other terrorists in prison.
So you're against this uptick in U.S. troops in Syria? You don't think that's the right decision?
I don't think that is the right decision. I think we have to have an understanding in the United States how to address the concerns of keeping the ISIS prisoners where they are, and how to address eliminating PKK, YPG, and how to address the basic rights and safety and security of the Kurds and Arabs and Turkmens, everyone's.
There are rumors of an impending Turkish military offensive against the so-called Syrian Democratic Forces, the SDF, that are mainly constituted by the YPG, the People Protection Units, which Turkey says is part of the PKK. Is there an offensive about to happen?
Well, you know, YPG is an artificially constructed terrorist organization comprised of people from Turkey, Iraq, Syria, and some of them Europe. So I think this artificial terrorist organization should be disbanded immediately. So first of all, now there is a new administration in Syria. I think they have to take care of their own business, because we are talking about territorial unity and sovereignty and integrity of Syria. So that has to be provided.
So you're counting on them to address the issue instead of you going in?
This is one of the ways that we would like to see. But
the preferred way.
Preferred way. I mean, if it doesn't happen, we have to protect our own national security.
Meaning military intervention is possible.
No, whatever it takes.
The head of the SDF has proposed a demilitarized zone around the town of Kobane, and he's also indicated that he's willing to find a negotiated solution with Turkey. Why not?
Well, they have to have a negotiated solution first with Damascus, because now there is a new administration in Damascus. The YPG, PKK, now they don't have Russia, Iran, and regime alliance behind them. You know, these three actors.
But they had the U.S.
No, let's say this. These three actors, they were providing the foundation for YPG to sit on. The U.S. and some European countries, they were, supporting YPG, who is based on this foundation. Now, this foundation is gone. There is a new reality in Damascus now. Now, the new reality in Damascus, hopefully they will address these issues. But at the same time, YPG, PKK, they know what we want. We don't want to see any form of military threat to ourselves. Not the present one, but also the potential one.
Is a ceasefire in Gaza more realistic now, given what's happened in Lebanon, what's happened in Syria? There have been rumors that we're getting closer, but the presidents are telling another story. We've heard those rumors before. How confident are you that there can indeed finally be a ceasefire in Gaza in the near term?
Well, every interested actors these days that I speak to, including us, we are more optimistic, but I am not sure if this is a wishful thinking or the reality is really providing this picture. Now there is a degree of reality now that those two parties, Israelis and Hamas, are coming closer. But how close? Are they close enough to really bridge the gap so they can reach a ceasefire? We'll see very soon.
Hamas has moved?
Hamas has moved too.
Are you concerned about a war between Israel and Iran?
Very much.
Very much?
Very much.
Because you feel Israel will strike Iran because Iran is weak right now?
Well, for whatever reason, there might be there is a possibility that it might occur. So the only thing that I know that the Iranians, they don't want such a war. They would like to avoid any major confrontation. This is, a direct information that I've had from our Iranian friends as a result of my meetings with them.
Hakan Fidan, Foreign Minister of the Republic of Turkey, thank you very much for welcoming us here in Ankara. And thank you all for watching this interview here on France 24.